What are we? What do we stand for?
So we've been waiting a little bit for Mando season 3.
Well, you got Book of Boba Fett in
We
between.
did, yeah.
Stop complaining.
From your point of view, I guess, do you still get excited to put the armor on every time?
Yes. It's always, there's always like an initial moment of feeling like the biggest badass in the world. And then the aches and pains start to emerge.
And has your kind of like approach to playing Din changed over the years? Because now we're in like, you know, filming started whenever it did, 2018, 2019. It's been 4
Well, all
years.
of it has sort of changed and developed, and there are so many different ways of approaching the execution of the show, which is kind of amazing. The way that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have started with season 1, gone into all of the surprises of season 2, bridged season 2 and season 3 with the Book of Boba Fett, and continue to expand on the world, and in a way to kind of improvise their approach each time. And I remember, you know, checking in with them and you know, just asking, are you guys okay? You know, because season 3 is so epic that you've got to wonder how overworked they are, to be honest.
I guess on the subject of season 3, obviously without spoiling too much, what can you...
No, it's okay.
Yeah, tell me how it
I'll
ends.
tell you everything.
Can you kind of like, I guess, thematically, like, where do we find ourselves in season 3? What are what's the scope that we're dealing with?
There are more Mandalorians.
I've seen.
Yeah, and I think that that's a beautiful aspect in terms of expanding the lore around Mandalore, and including more characters, and expanding on the coolness of it all, to be honest, because Mandalorians are so cool, and the creed and the culture around it has so many interesting facets that are relatable to society for us, and that to get more into the flesh of that under the armor is fascinating, and so I can say that, and when I say epic, it I don't mean it in, you know, typical sort of Star Wars fashion. I mean related to what season 3 does visually and narratively. It's pretty epic.
I guess, so like digging into that kind of our emerging understanding of like Mandalore and what it means to be a Mandalorian, I think something that I think you can track over the course of the show is this sort of tension that develops between Din's understanding of his like heritage and being a foundling and the kind of like found family aspect of what him and Grogu are building.
Right.
Is that kind of like a tension that you think gets explored in season 3? Is that?
It's such a beautiful dynamic that exists between Din and Grogu, protector, protected, and how that dynamic can be reversed, and that there's so much layering within, you know, that relationship. So I guess I would just say that what is initially or sort of instantly kind of rich about the dynamic is just sort of more available to us. You know, what disarms us about this relationship continues to grow, and that's a fun thing.
I am Bo-Katan of Clan Kryze. I was born on Mandalore and fought in the Purge. I am the last of my line. And you are a child of the Watch.
The other core relationship that people are curious about, people being me, is the kind of, we got Katie Sackhoff's Bo-Katan like in kind of snippets across season 2, and I guess from trailers and stuff we know she's going to play a big role in season 3.
Yeah.
Can you kind of tease a little bit about where they find themselves after the kind of fallout of the Darksaber stuff?
Right. I mean, there wasn't really a fallout necessarily. It was sort of kind of accidentally in my hands.
You picked it up.
Din is desperate to give it back to her. But it has to be earned in a very specific way. And I just know that I think what I'm most excited about as far as season 3 is concerned is what we get to see Katie do.
I think I'm just like, as a fan of like Clone Wars and stuff, seeing that character realize and seeing Katie go back for it, it's just like so exciting.
Boss Bo-Katan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a word of it in there, and I
Big
agree.
time.
If you choose the armor, you'll return to your friend, the Mandalorian. However, you will be giving into attachment to those that you love. But if you choose the lightsaber, you will be the first student in my academy, and I will train you to be a great Jedi.
I'm curious about the kind of that relationship with Grogu and how I think like post Book of Boba Fett, where Din and Grogu go from kind of being like family out of necessity to like a decisive choice happens, right? Luke holds up the chainmail, and we kind of get the sense that Grogu is like, I want to be a Mandalorian. How is that relationship like built on in season 3? What do we see? They spoke about kind of the protector and protected. How does it kind of grow?
What was instantly relatable within the relationship, it doesn't limit itself to that kind of immediate charm, if that makes sense. It introduces something that we kind of fall in love with so quickly, but then there's just so much more to do with it, and different levels of that relationship, that bond, growing stronger, and there being conflict and you know, a shift in the power dynamic, not power over one another, but who needs which more, in which instant, who learns from the other within depending circumstance.
Which is like every parental relationship,
exactly.
Right? It becomes a point where
no, this is the first time this has ever happened. So what we're doing is we're inventing
parenting.
This, human relationships are basically being invented by this show.
And I guess finally, were there any, without naming names, kind of like, are there guest stars? Are there moments in season 3 that you were like, wow, you were like excited for, you knew kind of fans are going to be popping off about?
The answer to that is yes.
Perfect.
Period.